Welcome to another RMSO driving roundtable. Just call them dirt road drives. Well, we're back in a Bigfoot sighting hotspot. There's about a dozen Bigfoot sightings that I know of personally, that I've read and heard of coming out of this area. We are on the west side of Bear Lake, and Bear Lake's half in Idaho and half in Utah. All the mountains around Bear Lake, north, south, and west, there's just all kinds of Bigfoot sightings. So we're going into a place where there was a Bigfoot sighting along a place called Beaver Creek. And we've said it in other driving discussions. One of the big reasons we film these is because the highest percentage of sighting reports is a creature crossing the road. And it makes sense. So many more people are on the roads in these places than actually out hiking, so the odds catch up. So we might as well have a camera rolling in case we get a lucky road crossing, because if we don't have a camera going, chances of us getting a camera in our hands turned on is probably pretty slim. It's also nice to see the entire habitat area. I mean, you get a good sample of what a Bigfoot sighting location looks like when we have the camera on while we're driving around them.
We've actually got a really good footprint up here with toes and everything. It's a good, we couldn't cast it because it was on the side of a shore, on the side of the river.
It was underwater.
It was underwater.
Yeah. It was under like 3 or 4 inches of water, but the footprint had to have been made, you know, like the day before or something. I mean, it looked very nice and crisp footprint, all the edges, and even you could see in the toes, the crease in the toes between the foot and the actual toes.
Yep.
The reason I'm saying it probably had to have happened maybe the day before or several hours before is because the water was completely clear, crystal clear, so there wasn't the sediment of whatever stepped in there floating around. It had time to settle out when we found it. So
it might have even came up and peeked at us while we were camping, because it was camping. We were camping right across from the little creek.
Yeah, we found it the first morning after we'd already been there a night.
Yep. So it probably came and peeked at us while we were camping.
Yeah, if I can track down that photo, because this was like 5 years ago, I'll put it in this video, either right here somewhere or at the end.
Yeah, we've had some pretty creepy nights up in this canyon. The first time I ever heard a Bigfoot scream was in this canyon.
That's right.
Scared
That's the first time I've heard a Bigfoot scream. I think that was in like 2010 or 2011.
Yeah, it was scary. It was a big noise.
Well, what was crazy about the screams is we heard them 2 nights in a row, you know, about 1 in the morning. You know, after midnight, 1 o'clock-ish. The first night that we heard it twice that night. And then the second night, we heard it 1 time, so it's not like it, you know, kept it up all night long or anything, but about the same time both nights we got the scream, and it was kind of like a woman in distress screaming, but you know that no woman on the planet, any woman that I know of can make that type of a scream and make it last as long as it lasted, you know.
That is loud.
You know, a good 12, 15 seconds or so in length. Just had to have some big lungs to keep a scream going that long.
Another thing that happened up here that really unnerved me. I was actually really frightened. We were spotlighting, and I was spotlighting out of the passenger side, and I got some eye shine up on the hill. And we were driving along, and that thing ran alongside our truck up on the side of the hill as fast as we were driving, and kept it up for, I don't know, 3-4 miles. And every once in a while it'd look toward the car, and it kept up with our car up on the side of the hill the whole time we were going. And until we turned and went down another canyon, it kept up with the car.
Yeah, that was an adjoining canyon to this one called Green Canyon. I remember that. I know you were really freaked out because it was keeping pace with our vehicle while you were spotlighting it, and all you could see was the eyes, and
it was running through some pretty big bushes and boulders alongside a mountain.
Well, it ran through. I remember the eye shine disappearing for 300-400 yards, and because it went into some willows, and these willows stand 9, 10, 12 feet long, really thick willows, and it enters the willows, and the eyes disappear, and and so the eyes disappeared for, I don't know, 30 seconds or less as we got past this big thicket of willows. And exactly at the point that we come out onto the other side of the willows on the road, the eye shine starts up again. It come out, it paced the car, even though we couldn't see it. It paced the car through the willows and then come out on the other side exactly where it had left off. So in that thick stuff, it kept up with the car. And this is a pretty rough road right here along Beaver Creek we're on right now, but the Green Canyon one is such a nicer road. And, we were doing 20, 25 miles an hour.
And it was keeping up.
No saying it was an elk or a deer, but it was really weird that an animal like that would pace a car for such a distance.
It wasn't a deer. It was something bigger.
Yeah, it was kind of freaky. I saw the eye shine too, even though I was driving. Yeah, once in a while when we're out Bigfooting and stuff, and we've got everything that we need done at night, if we still have energy left, we'll sometimes drive around some of the dirt roads and stuff and spotlight, hoping to get lucky and get that sighting, I've never really had another freaky night of spotlighting except that one. That one was a really weird night. That thing that paced our car.
Yeah, it kept up with us, and it followed us right out the canyon. It was weird.
I think some animals really get confused about man-made lights. They see the glare of it, but I don't think that a lot of them, I don't think they realize that we can see them now.
Yeah, it's illuminating them. Yeah.
And I don't think they realize that their eyes reflect.
No.
So, yeah, it confuses a lot of animals when you're spotlighting, that's for sure.
We've actually had a wolf come up on us while we were spotlighting. It was a big one.
He come right up into the headlights.
Yep.
He was being very aggressive. It was.
He was not afraid.
He wasn't afraid for a little while till he heard me scream at Jenny to get in the car.
I was outside the car.
Yep, I yelled out the window, "Get in the car, there's a wolf." And she jumped in, and when I yelled out the window at her to get in, the wolf was heading right straight at the car, straight at the spotlights, and it stopped maybe 150 yards out. Well, excuse me, more like 100 feet, 150 feet. It was pretty close. And it started pacing back and forth in front of our car. And sniffing the ground and all that. So Jenny and I got to sit and watch it for like a minute and a half. And I tried filming it. I tried taking pictures of it. So did Jenny, because I mean it was there for a long time, and none of the footage turned out. You know, we didn't have a very good quality camera back then, and even our night vision cameras we have now may struggle that far out from a light to pick it up. But yeah, the camera we had at the time didn't have a chance. It was kind of demoralizing when we looked at the footage the next day, because we're like, oh, you know, if that was a Bigfoot,
we wouldn't have got any footage,
even though we had a camera on it, you know. I mean, and wolves are really rare in Utah. Matter of fact, you know, there's always an argument that they're here, they're not here. I mean, they are here. And we got to witness one.
It was a big gray wolf. Looked silver in the moonlight.
Yeah, he was a healthy looking one too.
Pretty.
And I was in denial at first. I was like, it's just a big coyote. But you know, those wolves have just those long legs, and they're huge. I mean, it was a big creature. As a matter of fact, it was just as tall as a deer. Its back line. As a matter of fact, when it first come out of the woods, see, I spotlighted this clearing, and Jenny had to go to the bathroom, so she got out and went behind and peed behind the cars for privacy. And so I'm just sitting there, you know, casually looking out in the field in front of me, and I see this eye shine come to the edge of the woods. And, you know, it's about the height of what I expect a deer, you know. I've seen a lot of deer eye shine. And I'm thinking a deer's coming out of the tree line. And then once it fully broke out of the tree line, I'm like, oh no, that's a wolf. You know, my first gut instinct, it's a wolf. And I'm watching this wolf come towards the car, and he's trotting towards the car pretty aggressively, straight into my headlights. I mean, straight on. And what went through my mind, you know, one wolf, there may be a pack. And Jenny's back out there by herself, you know, and the wolf's coming. So I yelled at her to get in, and as soon as it heard me yell, that's when it started pacing back and forth in front of the car. And I'm thinking, well, I'm pretty damn sure, because when I stopped to let her out, all of the dust that we'd kicked up from driving on that road went in front of the car directly towards him. So I'm thinking he smelt her peeing, and it's what got him to rush our car.
That's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
It was coming to get me.
Well, people say that women attract Bigfoot, but I watched a woman attract a wolf. But yeah, when Jenny got in, we started observing, and I'm like, Jenny's like, a wolf, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's a big coyote. And you know, we've seen the wolves at Yellowstone, so we've witnessed them, you know, firsthand. And you know, we've seen the coyotes. It was just too big. It was a wolf.
It wasn't the right color either. It was silver.
Yeah, we were up above Hardware Ranch in Monte Cristo, and when I went home, I started Googling information about, you know, wolves in Utah and everything. There's a University of Utah study on a pack of 12 wolves that they say spend most of their territory time at Hardware Ranch in Monte Cristo. So that right there says there's wolves in Utah, even though you'll talk to DNR people and they're like, oh no, we don't have wolves. They also say we don't have grizzlies, and I'm pretty damn sure we have them. I've had ranchers tell me they've seen them, and I've also seen their tracks, so.
Want me to get out and move that? I'll get out and move it. Right?
Yeah.
That was big.
And heavy. Rained all day yesterday and all night last night.
It looks like it snowed.
Yeah, snow up here a little bit.
I just love this place up here. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's accessible if you have a 4-wheel drive. And a lot of times we'll come camping back in here and we'll be the only people back here the whole weekend.
Yeah, we've been the only ones back here on several occasions. The weekend that we heard the screams, we were the only ones back here. It was just me and you. Yep. I don't even think we had any of our Bigfoot buddies with us that little expedition.
There's lots of beaver up in here. That's why it's called Beaver Creek, but well, there's lots of beaver activity, beaver ponds.
Yep, and Utah and Idaho share this stretch. We're on the Idaho side now.
Yeah, there's deer and elk and moose and bear.
And I have to say Bigfoot. There are a lot of sightings in this county, and most of the sightings are back in here.
Mountain lion, coyotes, fox. There's everything back in here.
Wolf. We're not very far from Yellowstone National Park.
No, not that far.
Not for an animal or a vehicle.
No.
Remember that one time we went to Yellowstone and that young guy was driving his bicycle across the United States, and he started like in New York or something, and
Yep.
and he'd already made it to Yellowstone, and we camped in Yellowstone, blah 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 blah, for several days, and then on our drive home somewhere around the Bear Lake area, we ran into him again.
Yep, he'd made it all the way to Bear Lake.
That was crazy. He was doing that all alone. And he wasn't from the United States. He was from a European country, so very adventurous.
Yep, seeing America on his bicycle.
So yeah, if he can ride his bicycle from Yellowstone to here, I'm sure it's nothing for a wolf. They're here. Always afraid of a big old rock being under one of them.
Big old puddle.
Yeah, the rain last night and today has just made this horrible. Hope we don't get stuck back in here.
There's a beaver pond right there.
You guys probably can't see anything with the sun glare. Gotta hope we can make it back to the sighting location. It just keeps getting worse the further we get back in here.
Wow.
I don't think we're going to be able to get out the way that you suggested. I don't think we're going to be able to get up over that
I don't know.
that pass back in here.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so slurpy right here. Maybe it's because the beavers have dammed up. I don't know.
I don't know. This isn't the best vehicle for mudding. We're getting pretty close to where the guy's Bigfoot sighting happened that we're coming back here for. There's actually a couple of them that he saw.
There were two?
Yeah, they started vocalizing up on the mountains while he was playing with his dog. Or dogs, I should say. He's out playing fetch the stick or the frisbee with his dogs right by where he was camping, and heard some vocalizations up on the mountain and stuff. And you know, he heard it off and on a couple of times playing with his dogs, and finally started paying a little more attention, and then he tried copying them, and then that's when one of them really freaked out with the vocalization, and then they started making like whoops and stuff back and forth to each other, working their way down towards his camp. And he did finally get to see him when they come down within the fire of his camp.
Wow.
And I will do the sighting reports. You guys may see the sighting report before this video comes out. Oh my gosh. The first real rainstorm of the fall, and it's got it really muddy and snotty back here. Here's some of the beaver activity Jenny was talking about earlier. There's beaver ponds and dams and beaver huts or lodges, whatever you want to call them, all over up here.
I'm gonna take some pictures.
But it's amazing how much Bigfoot sightings and reports, you know, you read about, and that happened along creeks and rivers with beaver activity. Matter of fact, not too far from here, one of my favorite Bigfoot sightings up near Montpelier in the Bloody Bucket. The 3 Bigfoot that the 2 separate hunters witnessed on the same day were walking around a beaver dam pond.
video of it from the other direction so they can see it. Oh, can't see it. Stop.
Snotty mud. Had to lock in the 4-wheel drive a ways back.
We almost slid sideways off the road.
We slid a little bit.
Oh yeah, we slid a little bit.
Yeah, we've slid on worse. That one time in my Jeep, I thought we were gonna slide off the road in some mud. That was scary. There was a curve and we slid down this hill with the brakes locked, and we weren't going that fast at all, but we started to slide and the vehicle just picked up more and more speed, and I thought we were gonna go off the curve, but the vehicle stopped at the curve, luckily.
Woo! Whoa.
That was no fun.
Some deep mud.
That was on Birch Creek, which is also on the west side of, it's all interconnected back here. We were on Birch Creek Bigfoot and about 5 years ago when that happened to us, and I will never drive that stretch after it's rained again. That was scary. Yeah, Bigfoot can get you into some places you normally wouldn't go.
A little bit farther up. Boy, it's pretty in here. There's his hut. Stop.
Jenny's taking a picture of his beaver lodge or hut, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
A beaver structure. It's a what?
I think it's his lodge.
Nice and cold out there. This is Bigfoot weather. I was a big hairy creature. This is where I would want to be. Yep, you can tell winter's coming. This might be the last time we get to come back here for the season.
Yeah.
Unless we get your snowmobile fired up.
Yeah.
Sorry about the little mud spattle on the windshield. Alright, we're in the area the guy was camping in, I believe. This little open stretch, so just need to find his little campsite and here's where he was camping.
We can make it. That's pretty dry.
Yeah, there's his camp, and we're gonna go back and do his sighting report. He was playing out here with his dogs, and I believe it was a frisbee. I'll have to read his sighting report again. But whatever, he was playing with his dogs about dinner time. The sun going down. Yeah, I don't know if I got my directions right, but you know, if this isn't the exact spot, we're pretty damn close to it. And as a matter of fact, I've been to a lot of campsites along this, and a lot of the campsites are made with these large boulders near them. So I'm sure he was in a similar spot if this isn't the exact one, but we're in the area. We're going to do his Bigfoot sighting report. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll film some of our drive leaving this area in case we get a road crossing Bigfoot. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching. Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization. We're up here on the Utah-Idaho border on the Idaho side, west of Bear Lake, along Beaver Creek, looking into some Bigfoot sightings. The area is rich with Bigfoot sightings, a great history of them, and we're in an area where a guy had some vocalizations and possible Bigfoot activity by two creatures in June of 2003. This area is about 6,000 feet elevation with the creek, the Beaver Creek. It's full of fish, and there's a lot of freshwater springs around here. The place is well known for bears, so I have no doubt that there's enough habitat, enough food for a large creature like a Bigfoot. There's also moose, elk, and deer. I'm going to go ahead and go over the Bigfoot sighting report that the guy had. It was actual vocalizations, and he may have seen the silhouette of the creatures from his fire that was going that night. And here's his report. I was playing with my dogs about 200 feet from the campfire right before sunset. I heard a weird sound behind me, pretty far up the mountain. I thought I was just imagining it and kept playing with the dogs. After 10 minutes, I heard it again, along with the second call, further up the canyon. I thought that I had imagined it. Another 5 or 10 minutes went by, and I knew the third time that I had heard it. It was very loud, sharp call, very much like what a primate sounds like, from what I have seen on TV. I was instantly on edge, as I have camped, hiked in this area many times over 10 to 12 years, without any previous incidents of these sounds. I went back to my campfire to start dinner, when I heard it again. This time my dogs took notice, and they were very uneasy as well. After 2 or 3 more instances, with my 3 dogs cowering at my feet, I decided to respond. Immediately there was a call and reply that sounded agitated. They proceeded to call back and forth, progressively getting closer to my location. It was getting dark. I got in the back of my SUV with my dogs to try to relax and think. And then I heard sounds very close to the trees not far from me. The dogs went from terrified to attack mode, barking and jumping back and forth to the side windows, and I realized the sunroof was open. I panicked, jumped over the seat, and started the vehicle and jetted out of there. All this happened in about an hour or so. My dogs had seen many animals in the hills before, and nothing ever seemed to frighten them. There was a follow-up investigation by my friend Todd Strong. He did the original BFRO investigation. He talked to the witness on the phone, and Todd has camped in the area many times himself. He found him believable, experienced in the outdoors, and familiar with his dogs. He still seemed a little scared, and after interviewing, he can add the following to the account. The witness went camping with his 3 dogs, something he often does, and had been playing with the dogs in an undeveloped campsite for about 2 hours. He heard a strange vocalization up the mountain he had never heard before. Then a second, similar vocalization respond. Not knowing what they were and realizing that they were long ways away, he tried to mimic the vocalization himself. Both animals responded and started moving down the mountain in his direction, calling and vocalizing to each other. The closer the vocalizations got, the more scared his dogs became, until he took the dogs into the vehicle with him. Shortly after locking themselves in the vehicle, the dogs became totally petrified and began growling, barking, and snapping at the windows, leading him to believe the 2 animals were at least inside the campground and possibly right outside his vehicle. He decided to leave at that point. The witness explained his 3 dogs have never been scared before and have even ran in between the legs of moose and elk while in the mountains. The best way the witness could describe the sound was like a chimpanzee sound he had heard on nature shows, only deeper and not as quite high-pitched. It was the first time he had ever heard an animal make that kind of noise. I am aware of other reports in this general area of loud vocalizations and believe that detail. The animals approaching the campground after witness vocalized and the reaction of the dogs to be typical behavior. He told a professor at the Utah State about the noise, and the professor showed him the BFRO website and suggested he send in a report. The professor said he and a friend saw something the year before in the same area, walking on 2 legs through a clearing that they thought may have been a Bigfoot. This is Kelly Shaw reporting for the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization at the location, as close as I could get to the location from the description of this Bigfoot experience. And I Bigfoot in this area a lot because there are so many Bigfoot sightings in this general area. And I had a vocalization experience in 2011 that was pretty eerie. 2 nights in a row when we were camping right here on Beaver Creek. We were actually about 2 or 3 miles from this location where the gentleman had his experience. But what we heard is it sounded like a woman screaming in distress, although I know a woman cannot make the sound that I was hearing. That's, that it was much deeper, and the scream lasted so much longer than what I think even an opera singer could do. You know what I mean? This thing had some lungs and belted it out for, 12, 15 seconds, maybe longer. The first night we heard 2 vocalizations like that, about 1 in the morning, and then nothing the rest of the night. And then the next night it happened again. Pretty creepy. We never did end up identifying the creature that did it. However, after the first night, the next morning we did find a footprint inside the creek, and it was under about 4 inches of water, but the footprint was just crystal clear. I'll put that at the end of this video. It's a quite interesting footprint that we found in the mud. And you know, it was pretty crisp around the toes and between the toes and the foot and everything. So I know it couldn't have been too old, but it was old enough that whatever mud or debris had been disturbed had settled down, because the water was crystal clear and we could see, you know, the footprint bright as day. I'll add that to this. But anyway, this is a great Bigfoot sighting location. We love Bigfoot in here. We've heard the vocalizations ourselves that this guy is describing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching. As long as we've been doing this, I still get a little bit excited when I know I'm at a place where someone has claimed to see Bigfoot. And what's even more exciting is when it's 12 separate people or groups of people over 30, 40 years. You know there's something going on. I mean, one Bigfoot sighting claim is one thing, but when you have a large variety of sighting reports in the same general area over years, you have to step back and say, you know, has Bigfoot really lived there or passed through there? And the Bear Lake area, especially the west side, and of course also the south side. The south side of Bear Lake leads to Hardware Ranch and Monte Cristo. North side of Bear Lake leads up to the Bloody Bucket, St. Charles. And then of course the west side, you got Green Canyon, Birch Creek, and of course, we're in Beaver Creek. Yeah, a guy that grew up in the Bear Lake County area, he was telling me that you know, his parents and grandparents said that a lot of people used to call Birch Creek Bigfoot Creek because so many sightings were seen in the area when he was a child and in his parents' days and stuff. So it doesn't surprise me one bit. All these mountains right here, just wonderful habitat. Oh, it smells so good out there.
We'll have to take some pictures of the beaver chews up here. Put them in.
Where they're chewing down the trees.
big tree.
Wow, this road's gnarly. I was hoping they did something to improve it. The last 10 years we've been coming back here, it's always been this rough. I don't think it ever gets worked on.
No.
This road right here is probably the main reason why we rarely see people back there camping. I mean, I'm not saying nobody ever camps back there, but a lot of times we're the only ones, and it's just no fun to get a trailer in on this road. I know I don't want to pull my trailer on it.
No, we've never got a trailer back here. We've had to tent it back here.
Yep, every time. It's always been a tenting destination for us.
We did try to get our trailer back here one time, and it took us an hour to dig our trailer out of the snow.
Yeah, we tried coming in from the Green Canyon side because the road isn't as gnarly, and when we got up to the top of the pass, there was all kinds of snow, and the trailer got high centered, so Jenny and I were out there in the middle of the night digging for a couple of hours. And then the next day we ran into a fishing game officer, and we were telling him how we spent a couple hours digging out the night before, and he's like, I got stuck in the same place in my truck and a week earlier, and he said that he spent a while digging back there, so we're not the only ones that had to dig that year to get out.
We are now entering Utah. Leaving Idaho.
I was afraid I was going to have to dig today. Some of this stuff is just really soft and snotty, and yeah, our original plan was we were going to drive up over the pass that goes into Green Canyon today, and once we got back to the Bigfoot sighting location here in Beaver Creek, I was just like, no, we'll just stop at the sighting place and we'll go back, because I don't think we're going to make it over the pass today. gosh, I love the smell this time of year. I like the smell of the forest any time of year, but...
Yeah, the fall smells good.
Uh-huh.
It's only 55 degrees out there.
Yeah, but it'll drop down below freezing tonight.
It feels good out there.
Obviously did last night. It snowed up here.
Yeah.
Now it's a muddy mess up here today. Another camping spot. I don't think anybody wants to camp there right now, though. It's a muddy mess.
There's a big puddle.
That would just be a miserable spot to camp right now. Alright, we're just about off the mountain. I really hope you guys enjoyed a tour, a drive through a Bigfoot sighting hotspot. We're on the west side of the Bear Lake area, and we're along Beaver Creek, and we're just about ready to drive off Beaver Mountain. Keep on watching. We're gonna keep on squatching.